All right, welcome to SVU Pod, Especially Heinous. I'm Gabe.
I'm Tasha.
We are on Season 6, Episode 16, Ghost. Not a single specter involved.
Not a single Demi Moore
Pottery scene.
Not a wheel in sight. Nobody that was in Roadhouse was in this episode.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a pretty sick bowl cut. Demi Moore had a bowl cut and that's super hard, remember?
Yeah.
All right, the opening scene, two women are doing that walk and talk through an office. Like, oh my God, I saw the show. Can you believe that blah, blah, blah did this? And like, oh, actually going to a water jug dispenser. Water jug dispenser. That's how you can tell them from, it's like the Wisconsin, and we call it a water jug dispenser, but you call it a water cooler? Weird.
Nobody else but you calls it a water jug.
Nobody else I don't even call it that. They're like, oh, it's empty, and ask fucking Paul or whoever his name is to go grab one. So Paul goes into the supply closet and he fucking finds a naked woman on the floor. She has blood all over her. The other two girls come in because he's like, oh my God. They're like, oh my God, it's Elena. So CSU and SVU are there. The woman's name is Elena Brevet. She was 27 years old. She was one of the owners of the company, Brevet Investments, along with her husband. She was stabbed 17 times before she died. Her throat was cut and she was also raped and beaten. Her time of death is about 48 hours before she was found. Toot says Elena was last seen on Friday night by her secretary, Patty, who was one of the women that...
Yeah, she was so cute.
She was very cute. Munch is looking at the security tapes. Stabler and Benson meet with Patty. She shows them to Elena's office. She says that Elena and her husband managed a private hedge fund that generated $700 million in assets, and they got about 20% of that or something like that. Patty left the office around 8 p.m. on Friday. Elena told her to go home as she stayed and worked. Patty offered to stay, which is probably good that she left because she probably would have died too.
She would have.
Yeah. Elena was supposed to go to Miami for a client's party. Her husband flew without her so that she could finish some quarterly reports or whatever. Elena's husband, Jason, was supposed to come home from Miami last night, and so he probably doesn't know. This whole time she's super upset and trembling, and I actually felt bad for her. I forgot she was a character for a second. I was like, oh, I hope you take tomorrow off. Benson and Stabler are outside of Elena and Jason's house. Benson mentions that there's no missing persons report for Elena, which is strange that Jason hasn't filed one. Stabler thinks that maybe their marriage wasn't great and Jason pulled a, quote, OJ, Jesus Christ, and then flew to Miami to set up his alibi. I love how they go from like 0 to 60 in 4 seconds.
Yeah, there's nothing in the middle. They're like, well, he must have brutally murdered her and then gone to party in Miami. But I mean, they're the experts, I guess.
Yeah. But the stoop has the weekend papers on it still, so maybe Jason hasn't been home yet. And then Stabler notices that the door is open. They fucking go in. The music is all swelly. The luggage is still by the door. A man is sitting in a chair with his back to them, and they call out. They're like, Jason? Jason Brevet? And they come up to him. He's fucking dead. He was tortured like his wife with stab wounds all over his fucking body, and his hands are taped to the chair. Theme song.
And they're like, whoa. So he didn't kill her then.
Yeah. Or it's a body double, and he's trying to get away. Whatever.
So now this is a crime scene. CSU's there. SVU's still there. Ain't no dilly to his dally. Ryan O'Halloran is giving the SVU the CSU 411. Jason's death is estimated to be after Elena's. He was killed about 12 hours before being discovered. The killer wiped the whole house clean with bleach, no prints at either crime scene, and no trace evidence was found on Jason's body. Jason's throat was cut, like Elena's, but he also has head trauma. Stabes thinks that he got fucking blitzed by somebody already in the apartment who drug him to the chair and tied him up. His plane got in from Miami at 10 p.m. the night before. Elena's keys were used to enter the apartment, so they're thinking the killer murdered Elena, took her keys, and then waited all weekend for Jason to get back from Miami. This was very deliberate, and we're there for something. Sure was. The safe in the house was opened. He may have tortured Jason for the code before killing him. I like, too, to think about this person murdered Elena, and then we're like, oh, sweet, I'm going to go hang out at her place. And then they're just, like, watching whatever they have on their DVR until Jason gets home.
I know. I was wondering if, like, they came the night before the person was supposed to arrive or just, like, hung out there and, like, ate their food and stuff.
I mean, if there's no trace evidence, did they wear, like, a full Walter White fucking meth making suit, feet kicked up on the coffee table, just binging Everybody Loves Raymond? They're like,
his brother's so jealous. I forgot about that trace evidence thing. Like, he probably didn't stay.
Right. The safe in the house was opened. He may have tortured Jason for the code. There's no way he broke into it. Not the Yates 6000. That shit is pick-proof. Ryan, everyone listens to my ideas in business meetings, O'Halloran has some crazy new technology. You guys, it's a giant Inspector Gadget nose that can analyze odors and test the compounds to see what was stored in there. The results are in. It's estimated that there could have been around $1 million in the safe. The logic that they use to get to that endpoint is so fucking stupid, and I hate it, but I love it so much at the same time.
I know.
They're just like, we can tell these people fucking anything. Yeah, there was like $1 million in here. I have a machine that smells it.
Well, he was like, there could have been a lot of money in there. And Stabler I noticed this. He did a little quick look back to like mind measure it and was like, about $1 million could fit in there.
Even small bills. So,
Yeah, how like
with all my experience of...
Oh, you can smell one's government? Can you? NASA? We're like NOSA. I'm doing the nose.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Back at the precinct, Benson, Stabler, and Cregan are walking and talking. Cregan wonders why the money from the safe wasn't invested based on the couple's jobs. They're financial managers, so they know that if you just leave it sitting in there, it's not going to accrue interest and all that shit.
Yeah.
Stabler thinks it was getting hidden from the IRS. Good thing the walk and talk took him to the squad room. Hey, Toots. He's there for the end of their conversation. He's got their financial reports. Elena and Jason had a lot of debt. They may have been trying to hide money from their creditors. Benson wonders why they didn't use the cash from the safe to pay off their debts. Duh. Well, Munch assumes they didn't use it because they'd have to explain where it came from. The forensic accountants found that the investment company was a huge pyramid scheme. They were using new investments to pay on their other clients' dividends and also paid themselves. So it's like Bernie Madoff shit. Or from what I understand, Bernie Madoff shit is. Stabes moves the speculation to the murderer being an investor who got pissed off and killed them. Ding, 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 says Munch. They got clients in Cali and Bogota. Fucking Colombia, dude. They were laundering drug money and skimming it mostly from a Colombian shell company called Casa Vega Enterprises. Cregan wants them to check with narcotics to see if they have any helpful info. Don't worry, Daddy. Toots knows a guy. A wink, who's that? So Toots takes Betty and Stabes to meet with his best friend and side chick partner, Detective Mike Sandoval. The name Casa Vega was run through the database, no hits. He asks how the money got to the account, and Stabler tells him through a series of small deposits, $500 here, $1,000 there, and Sandoval calls it the classic black market peso exchange. So they're meeting at this coffee shop, this gourmet coffee shop, so it's not like the blue New York City paper coffee cups. It's like, you sit down, people are writing their screenplays and shit. So they all sit down in the middle of this busy coffee shop at a table. Toots is the only one who doesn't get a coffee because he only drinks the blood of his enemies. Sandoval is going to show us how it works using the things on the table, like Miss Lippy would show her kindergarten class.
And it was stupid. Like, just use your words because you're not even, you're like, here's a napkin that represents Brazil or whatever the fuck he's.
Okay. He's like, say you're this ketchup bottle and a Colombian drug dealer. Okay. You're both. You're moving product through the streets of New York, and he takes this big diner sugar dispenser and dumps it on the table. I'm like, Jesus, Mike. Just runs his fingers through it. That's you distributing drugs, okay? And Benny's like, got it. But Ketchup You is in Colombia, so all your money's piling up in the U.S., and he uses real money from his pocket to symbolize the money, but by all means, dump that sugar for the diner server to clean up.
Right.
So to launder the money and make it legit, you hire a black market money broker. Pepper shaker, okay? The broker finds Colombian nationals with checking accounts in the U.S. This napkin is a checking account, okay? By now, we realize that all three men at this table are explaining this to Benson. Like, Toots is jumping in with an additional comment. Stabes is jumping in knowingly, okay?
Yeah.
Benson, they're explaining it to Benson, the woman who needs an episode of Dora the Explorer to make it all make sense, is at the edge of her seat. These solid citizens, okay, these Colombian nationals living in the U.S., doing their biz, they write clean checks covering the amount of dirty money to the, quote, company in Bogota, Colombia, investing with Brevet Investments to go through Wall Street to get cleaned up and go back to the dealers, okay? The forensic accountant had a list of people who were depositing money into the Casa Vega account that Elena and Jason ran. Sandoval recognizes a name on the list, Elvira Castilla. He had arrested her son for selling weed out of their family bodega. I know her. Let's go talk to her. I'm coming with you guys.
So Benny and Stabes are with Mike, and they go to meet with Elvira. Elvira's pissed, of course. She's like, I didn't fucking do anything wrong. I invested some money in the stock market. That's not illegal. So she wrote checks and said that she didn't get any dividends. And she says that's the nature of the stock market. You win some, you lose some. Sandoval and Stabler tell Elvira that if she gives them info, they can transfer her son to Sing Sing, so she doesn't have to take a 7-hour bus ride to visit him. And I'm like, oh my God, moms. That's such a mom.
I know.
He's in fucking prison for weed. God.
I know.
Fucking weird.
Anyway, his mom, Elvira, mistress of the dark.
She tells him that she was approached by a dude who says that his cousin wanted to invest some money but was undocumented. She wrote a check to Brevet Investments for $450. He gave her $500 in cash, so it was a $50 profit for her. She did this like 15 to 20 times. Sandoval's like, give me a fucking name, dude. Cut to Benson, Stabler, and Sandoval kick down this fucking cardboard door. Did you see that? It was like one little, and it was like exploded. The lights are off. The lights are off. Sandoval calls out to Mr. Montoya, but there's no answer.
My favorite is that they bust in and Sandoval's like, Senor Montoya, policia. And then Benny makes sure to translate in English. Mr. Montoya, police. Just in case.
In case somebody was like, I don't understand what you're saying.
I don't speak either of those languages. No.
Really?
Benny was actually translating for John and Jane Q viewer at home who were like, Senor Montoya, policia, what are they even doing here? I'm so confused. And it takes them 20 minutes to catch up with the episode because they're still trying to figure out what they're doing there.
Right. They're just about to be like, you're in America. Speak. Oh, wait. She translated.
Okay, good.
I was pissed. So Stabler and Benson find 2 dead people in the living room, but the bodies are still warm, so this must have just happened. And then Sandoval finds a child in the bedroom with a pillow over his face. He was shot in the head, but then, oh my God, he's still alive. He like starts kind of crying a little bit. They're like, call a bus.
When they walked into the room, it was just a pillow on top of this kid's head with like a gunshot hole in it. So you can see that like the guy, he didn't like put it over after he shot him. He put the pillow over his face and then shot through the pillow.
Right.
So what he didn't see is that he didn't kill him.
So they're like, call a bus. And Stabler's like, no, it's faster for us to drive. So they drive him to the hospital, which I'm surprised they wouldn't get in trouble for doing considering he got shot in the head. Moving him around. So in the hospital, Benson and Sandoval wait to hear about the little boy. Sandoval tells Benson he fucking wants in on this case because he's never seen a dealer so cold that he shot a kid in the head. The doctor comes out and lets them know that the bullet only grazed the little boy's scalp. Benson and Sandoval go in to speak with him. Sandoval has to speak Spanish to him because he doesn't speak English, or so it seems. The little boy's name is Antonio. He's so fucking cute. This whole fucking episode,
cute.
I couldn't even stand it. His little fucking cheeks, dude. I just wanted to fucking pinch him.
So cute, this little guy.
The little boy's name is Antonio. Yep, he has a saint necklace signifying his patron saint. Oh, he asks about his mom and dad, and Sandoval gets down on his level, and Antonio is like, I know they went to heaven. Benson asks Sandoval to ask Antonio why his parents went to heaven, and Antonio says a man was saving them from their pain. He knew a man was hurting them and says, quote, a ghost shot him. Oh my God.
Yeah, El Fantismo.
El Fantismo. Benson and Sandoval leave to meet Stabler at the ballistics lab.
Over at the ballistics lab, Ryan, oh wow, Tasha, you're still trying to come up with Irish tropes for this guy, but you're running out of ideas, so now you question everyone because you're not sure if it's offensive or not. O'Halloran has new info for them. The bullets from Mr. and Mrs. Montoya match, but the bullet that shot Antonio matches markings from bullets used in an unsolved homicide case. The case the gun was used in was the murder of Alex Cabot, the former ADA. Well, gulp.
Gulp.
I smell a
Cameo.
Over at the precinct, Cragen's got the team assembled and the scotch tape fucking rolled out. Get these 8x10s up on the crime board and gather round, kids. Benny, Stabes, Munch, Toots, and Big Daddy Craigs are going to get everyone up to speed. The room is just full of detectives, cops. They're all on this shit.
Yeah.
When Cabot was working on a case involving a drug dealer and rapist, Cesar Velez, someone ordered a hit on her and blew up DEA agent Tim Donovan.
Mm-hmm.
This was season 5, episode 4, Loss. It's a good episode. The match of the bullets now link Velez to the Brevet and Montoya murders as well. They think the Brevets embezzled money, millions of dollars, because Stabler could smell it.
Yeah. According to the nose. The nose knows.
Oh. So they think the Brevets embezzled money from Velez and that Sergio Montoya, Antonio's dad, was the middleman. When Velez found out the Brevets were ripping him off, he ordered hits on them and the Montoyas. The hitman left no forensic evidence. He ate that crime scene. No crumbs, Hanny. Shante, you stay. Just kidding. He left no forensic evidence. Their best lead is security footage from Brevet Investments. There are still 75 people left to identify from the camera footage. And with all those names and people, they should find a link to the cartel.
Right.
Sandoval offers to assist in reviewing information that the DEA should have. Cragen sends Hey Mike over to HIDA to run all the names. So HIDA is the High Intensity Drug Trafficking Areas Program. It's one of the few extra tools they reference in SVU that actually exists. It's a DEA-run program with dozens of designated areas around the country. It's got a huge budget along with state and federal employees tracking these areas. So it's really to have all the information to be able to be shared on highly trafficked drug areas.
Yeah.
So, boop, 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 they go to HIDA. The detectives cross-reference the information that they have with DEA agent Frayne. This is this dude's 3rd of 7 times on SVU. He's been in all of the Law and Orders, a bunch, actually. He was also in Outside Providence and Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. They don't find any links, okay? They actually gave him one name, and he's like, no, I think they were at the end of their list. They didn't find any links between anybody. And Sandoval conveniently sighs and says, oh, man, that guy that killed them really is and he looks to camera, ghost. Agent Frayne, what's him? Remember Antonio, the sweetie little traumatized BB, called the guy El Fantasma, the ghost? You lucky dummies, that's actually a dude's name. He's a hitman who was involved in dozens of assassinations in Colombia. He's a white dude from Ireland, an IRA hitman named, don't worry, I'm not going to use his name is Liam Connors. Agent Frayne fills them in on this guy. He's done time in the maze, which I had to look up because I was like, this sounds cool.
Yeah, what is that?
It's a maximum security prison outside of Belfast. There's a super famous IRA mass prison break that happened in 1983. It was the biggest to ever happen in the UK, which was especially crazy since the maze was considered escape-proof.
Like Alcatraz type.
Yeah, they were like
the Irish Alcatraz.
Yeah. So Liam Connors / El Fantasma / the Ghost had disappeared from Ireland after the ceasefire, aka the Northern Ireland Good Friday Agreement. Okay, so the military and IRA called a truce, basically. So these scary IRA dudes had nothing to do. He then popped up in Colombia training narco-terrorist groups who were fighting against U.S. anti-drug activity. So why is he called the Ghost? I thought it was going to be because he's white. But it's because usually no one sees him coming and no one is left alive when he's finished. Except Antonio. And Haley Joel Osment. The Ghost, dead people.
He sees them.
I'm trying every joke. It's a handful of uncooked spaghetti just against the wall. Not going to stick. Well, let's get a move on, y'all. Stabler's going to head back to the precinct to update everybody on this dude. Benny's going to take Sandoval with to visit Antonio and get a description of his ghost.
Benson and Sandoval are at the hospital, and Antonio asks Olivia what her name is in English. Her face was like, oh, you.
He has an American accent. Right, yeah. He's like, yeah, I speak both languages.
Yeah. He remembers her. She tells him that they need his help to find the person who shot him. He agrees to help. He says he knew about the ghost because his mom was screaming in the middle of the night and it woke him up. His mom was yelling murderer and called him the ghost by name. Antonio heard a gunshot and then closed his eyes and pretended to be asleep. And Olivia's like, oh, come on, I know you peeked a little bit. And he did. He knows what he looks like. And he thinks he can pick him out.
And fucking Benny's like, the ghost can't hurt you. Meanwhile, Alex Cabot is full on living in fucking Arizona or some shit.
She ended up saying Wisconsin. I didn't know. She was like, Wisconsin.
I was like, shut up.
Yeah. We're not going to let him hurt you. I'm like, fucking shit. Okay.
I was so mad at how everybody pushed Antonio this whole time.
I know. So outside, Stabler's waiting. They let him know that Antonio is getting discharged and will go stay with a cousin in Staten Island. Immediately, I was like, why? You don't think the fucking ghost would find him at his relative's house? Mm-hmm. Okay. Whenever they tell somebody, you're in danger, go stay with your sister. Fuck no. You're both gonna die. They're gonna find you in a second.
You're in danger. Go stay with that girl that was mean to you in high school that you aren't friends with on Facebook, that you haven't had contact with in 30 years. Go knock on her fucking door.
Remember that chick that you guys bonded in the bathroom when you were drunk at the fucking Wisco? Use that number and call her for once. Anyways.
That number and call her.
They need to find Connor so they can do a lineup for Antonio to identify him. They need to find the ghost. Sure. That only one person knows what he looks like, and it's an 8-year-old boy. Okay. Benson gets a phone call and fucks off over to the side. Stabler checked with Interpol. Everyone is looking for Connor, so he can't take a flight back to Colombia. Sandoval assumes he's got an escape route plan that doesn't involve a plane, like a boat or some shit. Benson comes back to talk with them. The phone call was from Munch. He found out that a rental car got a parking ticket outside Brevet Investments Friday night. The person who rented the car is a Bronx dude named Doyle Shanahan.
I wonder if he's Irish.
Right. He's a guy that does fundraising for the IRA in bars around New York. He works in a warehouse downtown. So at O'Doyle's. O'Doyle. That's what I kept thinking the whole time. Now, we're at O'Doyle's work, Atlas Manufacturing.
His name is Doyle, not O'Doyle, but...
Yes. Doyle tells Benson and Stabler that they can't arrest him for renting a freaking car. Stabler tells them that they can arrest him for conspiracy to commit murder, and then brings up Liam Connors. Doyle says he doesn't know anything about Connors. Sandoval brings up how Doyle raises money for the IRA, so he's got to know Connors. Doyle says he raises money for a Sinn Féin, a legitimate political party that's fighting for peace in Ireland.
And also, Doyle McPoyle has a fucking super thick Irish accent.
Right.
For the cause.
Sandoval says, how does shooting a little kid in the head bring peace to Ireland? And then Benson chimes in, and 5 others. Stabler tells him that Connors isn't IRA anymore. He's a contract killer for the cartels. And the music gets all swelly, and Doyle's like, oh my God, I didn't fucking know that. Connors asked for a favor for the cause, so Doyle rented the car. Connors told him he was going to some secret meetings and needed a car that couldn't be traced to him. Doyle never even saw Connors. He dropped the car off and picked it up the day after or something, and then tells him it was at some fuel depot down by the canal.
Yeah. A tsunami of dramatic music. Cut to SWAT and SVU busting into this warehouse building place where Doyle dropped the car. This is so dumb. Okay, they all pile into the building. Benny looks across the way to see the ghost, El Fantasma, a guy who has a career based on and is known for never being seen. He's fucking arm flaily running up a set of stairs like, wah!
I know, it was ridiculous.
They go to chase him down. Everybody jumps in cars except for Stabes and M. Sandy. Hey, Mike, they're going to pursue on foot, those 2 guys. Mm-hmm. The ghost is jumping from the roof like he's made of a burlap sack and filled to the brim with potatoes. He jumps over a fence, flops down some steps. Stabler's just a little ways behind him. And that silly little Kevin McAllister contract hitman, he's waiting for Stabler around a corner and clotheslines Stabes with a 2x4.
Yeah.
Stabes goes down. Connors keeps running. Sandoval's like, oh no, and Sonic the Hedgehog hyperspeeds up to Connors. So these guys are running through some kind of junkyard type area. There's trash, like 2x4s laying around and fucking cars and shit. Sandoval, who looks like he does his own stunts because I slowed that shit way down to see his face. He fucking scurries up the back of a car and dives off the top.
He does that like Toots.
The flying
squirrel fucking dive. Yeah.
He straight collapses this guy, but Connors is scrappy too and gets out from under him and gives M. Sandy a little 5-finger smooch to the face. Mm-hmm. The punch noise was perfect. Then he runs away some more. He keeps running. But whoop, Stabler's back on his feet. He just zooms past Sandoval, who had stopped to ask Stabes if he was okay when he got hurt, but then Stabler says nothing.
Yeah, he just pie-faced him down to the ground again.
Yeah. Cut to Benny driving a squad car. She spots Connors and calls his location over the radio to the other cops in cars. She was also eating Taco Bells. She seemed very, like, they're all, like, running and getting hurt and fighting, and she's like, changing the fucking CD.
Just crushing some candies, waiting for him to show up.
Connors hits the bridge where he gets cut off by Benny. Then Stabes, Sandoval, and another car block him on the other side. Connors looks over the bridge like he's going to jump, and Sandoval goes, "Drink a mouthful of that and you'll die in a week. Welcome to the United States. Everything is garbage. This is garbage here. If you jump in there, you're dead. It's sewage."
If you would have dressed up like a gun, we wouldn't have even noticed you. What are you doing?
Connors puts his hands up and announces he's unarmed.
How does he not have a gun?
Also, nobody's even breathing heavy. None of these guys. That just hot pursuit, tuck and rolled for, I bet they ran a full mile through obstacle course of junk.
Yeah. Wouldn't it be funny if Benson came out of the car and was like,
She wipes hot sauce over her cheek. Oh man, you guys, that was quite the chase. At the precinct, Antonio's brought in for the lineup. He's so scared and so adorable. Benson tells him how it works and that nobody can see him. And he steps up on this little step stool so he can see through the glass. Looks at the fucking lineup of dudes. Right away, Antonio says that he recognizes Liam Connors as the ghost. Zero hesitation.
Yeah.
Later, Stabler is questioning Connors. Connors, who has the best accent, and I am here to do it very poorly. Stabes kicks it off by asking why he killed them. Don't know what you're talking about. This is going to be bad.
Yeah.
Sure, Jan, we have a witness. What witness would that be? Oh, he doesn't know about sweet little Antonio, and Stabes isn't going to tell him. You'll find out in court, he says. Stabler tells him that he knows about him raping and killing a woman for her fucking house keys. You'd kill your own mother if the price was right. I'm glad my mother's not alive to hear you slander her only son like that. Stabes gives him the, hey guy, you scratch our backs and we'll scratch yours bit. Like, things will go a lot easier for you if you fucking give us what we want and blah, blah, blah. He goes, you're threatening me with the death penalty. Now that's original, but I suppose I'd be afraid if I'd actually committed a crime. And Stabes all over himself. A crime? No, 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 no,
No.
no. Try 5 murders and the biggie, assistant district attorney murder. Does that ring a bell, you ding dong? And this guy's staying super cool the whole time. He goes, this dead lawyer was a friend of yours. You want revenge. Stabler says he wants justice. But Connors keeps poking him. Somebody killed my friend. I'd want to hurt them badly. This dude is oozing quiet sass, and Stabler's clearly getting his feathers ruffled, but keeps going back and forth with him. He says to him, I'm a patient man.
Oh, sure.
I'll wait for your execution. Yeah, I'm a patient man. Nobody has ever said that about
Said
you.
no New York pile of cups ever.
I'll wait for your execution. And Connors goes, don't count on that happening. Beautiful system you Americans have. The defendant has so many rights. Sure, I'll sit in jail for a year or 2. And then a courtroom where you put on a show. But in the end, 2 little words will set me free. Reasonable doubt. And Stabes can't fucking take it anymore and gets one hot breath away from Connors' face. I got one big word that's going to kill you. Eyewitness. And then he whisper sings to this guy. He goes, you're guilty. And Connors whispers back, am I? And then he goes back to a normal tone of voice because he's like, what are we doing? He goes, I can see that vein pulsing in your temple, your jaw clenching. Look at that. You made a fist. You'd like nothing better than to hit me. Stabler goes, joke's on you. I want to hit everybody. No. Then Connors keeps going and he asks how Cabot died. Little does he know, this won't push Stabes over the edge like he thinks it's going to because he knows that Cabot's not really fucking dead.
Yeah.
And Stabler goes, you should know how she died. Connor stays cool. Really? Did anyone see me? And then he, woo, and wiggles around because he's the ghost.
Yeah.
Stabler leaves the room.
Stabler leaves the interrogation room and gets behind the glass with Benson. And Benson says, smug bastard. But they really don't have much. All of this depends on Antonio, a fucking 8-year-old boy who says he saw a ghost. So
Poor kid.
In Staten Island, Antonio and his guardian are picked up by Benson and Sandoval for grand jury. They're outside walking to the car when a black car pulls up and they're fucking gunned down. Benson dived onto the guardian and Sandoval jumped on Antonio and got clipped in the arm. Later, the responders arrive. Sandoval has to go to the hospital because he was shot in the arm. Antonio won't leave his side, and the paramedic is like, fine. She kind of was like, yeah, fine. She's okay with Antonio riding with. Benson gets a cop to ride in the ambulance with him to the hospital. So at the hospital, Sandoval tells Antonio that he can't go back to his cousin's house. No doy. He says, but who's going to take care of me? Ugh. He shouldn't have been there in the fucking first place.
No.
Benson tells him they're going to figure out how to keep him safe, but they got to get out of Sandoval's room so he can get dressed.
He's like, I thought you already knew how to keep me safe.
Right.
And I just got shot at again.
Right.
I'm 8.
Yeah. Benson takes Antonio out of the room. Cragen and Stabler discuss where Antonio's going to go. He has no family in the States. He may have to go to foster care. They also have no idea how anyone knows that Antonio is the eyewitness. Do they have a fucking rat, is what I'm thinking. They never really discuss that, though, do they?
No. And I was thinking that too when they were like, okay, this agent is going to hop in. There's too many people. This is a very big drug dealer. This is a very big hitman. And there's an eyewitness who saw someone who's never been seen before. This would be some departed shit.
Yeah.
Like they wouldn't have.
That's what I was thinking about this whole time.
Nobody else in the precinct would know that this kid fucking existed.
Yeah. So when Antonio was going to hop in the ambulance with Sandoval, I was like, oh my God, go in there, Benson, because somebody knows something, you know?
Yeah.
Keep him secret. Keep him safe.
I mean, yeah, how much does it really take? It could take, I'll pay you 10 grand or not even that, not even a benefit. It's like, oh, you were the first responders on this scene. I'm going to kill your whole family if you don't tell me what hospital you took him to.
Right. Sandoval offers to keep Antonio at his place, but Cragen says that that's not approved, and the defense attorney would throw a fucking fit. Stabler has a Marine buddy in town and wonders if Antonio can stay in the barracks on the Marine Corps base. Sandoval says that there's nowhere safer than being with a platoon full of jarheads. Cragen thinks that's a good idea, and I wrote, I don't. I was weighing in on it. You guys.
Gabe, we don't have another choice. You throw your arms up.
I'm like, oh, fuck. I don't even know why I went to school for this. I don't understand why I'm here. How did I get this job? I'll be talking about it on the podcast later. I'll tell you that much, Cragen. Okay, Cragen tells Stabler to get Antonio to court by 3. If they're late, Connors will get cut loose.
At the trial, Novak scurries in late from the grand jury. She lets the judge know they indicted Connors on all counts. And Connors' lawyer Kressler argues, but Mom, she's late to this one. Novak brings up the fucking attempt on the eyewitness's life, which sounds like grounds for an extension, she says.
Yeah.
But Kressler says that Connors didn't shoot anyone. He was at Rikers, and there's no proof of his involvement. So the judge won't grant an extension, and it's Judge Petrovsky, by the way.
Yeah.
She won't grant an extension and releases Connors until the trial date. Holy shit.
I know.
Novak's like, no, dude, he's a fucking flight risk. If you release him, we're never going to see this dude again. And Kressler tosses out, you have my word that he won't run off. And if you can't trust the word of a lawyer, then yeah, you know. No. The judge releases him, and Novak turns around to order Benson and Stabler to arrest Connors for Cabot's murder. Kressler calls it a shitty attempt at unlawful detainment, but the judge, who can clearly base decisions on her emotions, says, oh, Alex Cabot was a friend of mine. See you bitches at the arraignment.
I did not like that.
I don't like the rest of this. Connors is arrested and tells Stabler that they can't prove that he killed Cabot. The dead can't talk.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like when... No, I know it's like...
I can go harder on you because she was my friend.
Yeah.
But then they'll turn around and go, my hands are tied. Are they?
And like procedurals, we're like, yeah, we want these guys to win because we're watching a TV show. But in real life, we'd be like, that's fucked up.
Right.
But
it's true. But they wouldn't announce it on the fucking state. They wouldn't be like, I am personally invested in this. That won't cause legal troubles later or any kind of loophole for an appeal. So I'm just going to say out loud that she was my friend. And so I'm going to go with it. Back at the precinct, Cragen's in his office alone when Agent Hammond walks in. Remember, this dude is DEA and was part of the original investigation of Cesar Velez when Cabot was murdered. All of my murders are in quotes.
Yeah.
He is pissed
pissed that Connors was arrested for Cabot's murder. And Cragen's super confused. Like, okay, well, a thank you would be nice. We kind of are helping, right? Hammond gets all up in Cragen's fucking grill, telling him, if Connors goes to trial, I have to testify. I'm not about to ruin my career and commit fucking perjury, dude. On the stand? Cragen's Matt Damon and Good Will Hunting at that chalkboard during his janitor shift, and he's like, holy shit, Hammy Pants, you son of a bitch. She's alive? This is where Hammond gets all embarrassed and realizes Cragen doesn't know about it. So who's the dumb dick now? You are.
How you like them apples?
Hamburger, not much of a helper.
Get it?
It's like, you don't know. Really? You come in fucking wagging your finger and you don't have all the facts? Honey, I'm
Did you
embarrassed.
hear how do you like them apples? Because that's from Good Will Hunting as well.
Yeah. And
Okay.
his name's Hammond, and I called him Hamburger, not much of a helper.
That was good. I was still waiting for you to acknowledge the apples thing before, but that was funny.
I'll insert laughs for both.
Not so much helper.
Later, Daddy Cragen has Benny and Stabes in DJ and Stephanie's room. The two detectives are sitting on one twin bed. Benny's holding a throw pillow, and Stabler's cradling Mr. Bear, Stephanie's teddy bear, who wore a trench coat and fedora.
There's pink rabbit wallpaper. Remember?
That was Michelle's room, but, you know.
Actually, I think that was Uncle Jesse's room. Because remember, when he moved in, he was like, this isn't Beach Boys rock and roll style.
Wait. Or was it Stephanie's room, and then he moved in, and then she moved in with DJ, and then he took over? Yeah.
Something.
Because it was Stephanie's room to begin with. Okay. These two are in trouble. Cragen's mad that they didn't tell him about Cabot, but now he's even more mad because they arrested Connors for Cabot's pretend murder. They full-blown arrested him and signed an affidavit charging Connors with a murder. They perjured themselves. It's a Class E felony. But Dad, what were we supposed to do? We needed a ride to the mall, and this guy said he'd drive us there. It wasn't safe, you guys. They didn't want to refuse the arrest and tell the whole court that Cabot was alive because,
Yeah.
I mean, Novak straight up was like, arrest him, and they had to follow through. What are they going to do? Be like, actually, he didn't murder her. She's alive. Oh. Cragen says he gets it, but you can't put someone away for a crime that you know they didn't commit. And Benny gets really problematic and
I
says,
wonder why she didn't say the attempted murder.
huh?
I wonder why she didn't say arrest him for the attempted murder.
Because they supposedly had Cabot's body.
Yeah.
It couldn't be attempted. That would tell them right there that she wasn't dead.
But I mean, she shows up in court anyways, so we might as well.
But, you know, who knew that this was how this onion was going to peel? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Benny gets real problematic here and says, yeah, but he's done all these other murders, so isn't it just kind of okay? This was once.
Yeah.
I don't know. And Sailor's like, yeah, don't cry over that, chode. We did what we had to do.
Yeah.
Cragen cannot believe these little brats. He says all they did was put their jobs and pensions on the line and put in question any arrest they've ever made or conviction they've ever gotten. You think Alex Cabot would want you to do that in her name? And these kids are ashamed of themselves.
He's like, get on my lap. You're getting a spanking with the red spoon.
Benson looks up from her feet and asks, what are you going to do, Dad? Full House music is in full effect. I don't know yet.
House music? What did you say?
Not
I thought you said full house music is in full effect.
It's like,
I think I have glow sticks. Yeah.
no, full house.
Fucking Sandoval's giving ham and a sea breeze, and everybody's got candy up to their fucking chin.
Just rolling their dicks off.
Living those Jinko dreams. Just like that poem I wrote that I can't find. It's probably behind me.
Because they're like, what are you going to do, Dad? He's like, I don't know yet. But for now, why don't you go apologize to Mrs. Cornflake for breaking her front window and mow her yard until it's paid for? And then they all hug.
What?
I don't know.
Okay, so Cragen and Hammond go to see Cabot. They pull up to a house, and you can see a little hand open the curtain to see who it is. Before they can knock on the door, Cabot opens it and says, what happened? Oh my God. So inside, Cabot is shown a picture of Connors. And she's like, every time anyone looked at her, she was afraid it was him because she never knew what he looked like. She wants to see him pay, but she also thinks it goes against everything as a lawyer to convict a man for doing something he didn't do, which was murder her, even though she's supposed to be, witness protection. Anyways, but they have to tell the court that she's alive because of fucking what they did. She's going to make him pay. She wants him charged with her attempted murder. For years, she convinced victims to stand up to their attackers. And she says now it's time for her to stand up to her attacker. She'll be put in the crosshairs telling the court she's alive, though. Like, somebody's going to try to kill her. Cragen tells her that her testimony isn't even going to help the case. She can't ID him, but she says if she doesn't show up, they'll throw out the case over a missing witness. Hammond says that they still have 4 counts on him, but it's only because Antonio, an 8-year-old boy, and he has the fucking guts to testify. Cragen is worried that if Cabot goes back, they'll try to kill her again, 100%. She doesn't care. She lost a bunch, her home, her job, her friends, and even her mom died and she couldn't go to the fucking funeral. She's not going to let Connors take her conscience too.
Right.
So Benny and Stabes are waiting in Novak's office. Novak comes in and she's upset that they didn't tell her about Cabot. Benson says that they made a promise.
So we barely know you, bitch.
Yeah. Novak says that they hung her out to dry in court. Cabot walks in with a fucking fresh blowout. My God.
I also noted her incredible blowout. She's like, if I'm going in public, I am first going to my favorite salon. Hello, Carla.
Yeah.
Give me the
works.
what used to be the once a week.
Yeah.
Tip to taint. Wax me from under my nose to right above the knees. What a weird place to stop.
I know. That's what I was thinking. I was like, okay.
I want to be a fucking mother seal going to catch some fish for my babies.
I'm going to be fucking aerodynamic by the time I leave New York City. Sorry.
I want to go twice as fast through the Lincoln Tunnel on my belly.
Yeah.
You pictured her with her little arms behind on her sides, like
Yes. Yeah, like a little penguin.
Yeah.
So Benson's like, oh my God, Alex. And Stabler says, you didn't have to come back. It's like, fuck you, first of all. Hi.
Hello.
He just punches her in the face.
I've been living a completely secret life, you dick. Hello.
And then Cabot says, well, I don't know who else is going to get you out of trouble.
And Novak's like, oh.
Novak's like, okay, before everyone has a feel-good reunion, we're supposed to be in fucking court. Also, Cabot, do you remember when I tried you for raping that male stripper with your friends in season 1 or 2? Which one was it? In the courtroom, Novak introduces the charge for attempted murder. Connor's lawyer is like, what in the fuck? You can't keep throwing out bogus-ass charges, you dumb bitch. The judge asks Novak who the complainant is in the attempted murder case. Novak says, drumroll, ADA Alexandra Cabot.
What?
The music gets all swelly.
What? They're all like, what?
Yeah.
What?
The music gets all swelly and fucking Cabot walks in. Connors is surprised.
Her hair is twice as big as it was in the office.
She's got like
a fan machine.
Yeah, inside of her skull. Kressler wants Benson and Stabler arrested for perjury. Novak argues that they had to conceal the information about Cabot. Kressler also wants Benny and Stabes arrested for false arrest. The judge finds no underlying violation of Connor's rights based on them doing what was right. So somehow Connors is to remain on remand. What?
She actually said there were no underlining violations because he would have been held for the same amount of time if he had been arrested for attempted murder as being arrested for murder.
Oh, yeah.
So that
Right.
I was like, okay, we'll let you squeak by on your slick, soft bellies for that one.
Yeah. So, yeah, Connors is to remain in remand. And then the judge shoots a little half smile at Cabot, and like Cabot kind of nods, and I was like, I don't like that either. She calls a 10-minute recess, and then the camera shoots to Connor's fucking breakneck scowling at Cabot. Sandoval walks in to the courtroom and tells Stabler that they have a problem with Antonio.
Also, this Connors guy looks like Wish.com Ed Norton.
Yeah, he looks like another guy that was on SVU that always plays like a smarmy guy in everything he does. He's a character actor. I wish I could remember him.
So now Antonio meets with Cabot, Novak, and Sandoval in Novak's office. Antonio, who's adorably dressed like The Rock from the 90s, is telling all these grown-ups he's fucking scared and sick of being shot and having nightmares about it. Reasonable. Novak tells him the ghost doesn't have a gun anymore, so quit being such a pussy. No, she's like, he doesn't have a gun anymore, so you're safe. And it's like, he was in Rikers when I got shot at the second time, you dumb bitch.
Yeah.
But Antonio's like, for sure, I get that. I'm not an idiot. I still don't want to go to court, though. I'm pretty sure I know what I want. Cabot gently tells Antonio that she got shot too, just like him. And she's going to go to court. So, Jesus, lady, I'm a child.
Right.
You know who got shot that isn't going to court? My mom.
Yeah.
Just because we're both alive doesn't mean shit. Shut up. So Sandoval's like, I'll work on it. And he takes him home. And then it's just Cabot and Novak together. Cabot wants to keep working on her testimony. And Novak tells her that she thinks she's ready. So let's fuck off. And Cabot asks, are you?
and gets full eyeballs from Novak. Cabot immediately apologizes for saying that, but I don't think she should because her fucking life's on the line. So yeah, you're going to try to be on the same page. You have the same fucking job, you know? At the risk of sounding rude, definitely double check the person representing you, you know? Don't apologize. Rightfully so, Novak is fucking stressed about it. If Antonio doesn't testify, they're screwed. Cut to the safe house, which seems to be an apartment in a high-rise building. Stabler's hanging out with Cabot, playing backgammon. He rolls the dice and goes, oh, who's your daddy? And we're all like, you are.
That was so fucking hot when he was like, who is your dad? And I forgot people used to say that shit. But I was like...
He said it really hot.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He's like, who's your daddy? And fucking Cabot's like, sploosh. I mean, you.
So she's not having the blast that she should be having. She's not having the fucking fire hose blast that she should be having. Because she's all distracted and down. Duh.
She's like, I have to go. I have to fix my basement.
So he tells her she's going to do well in court, but she doesn't have control in the situation, so it's super frustrating for her. She wants to be trying that motherfucker Connors. She's playing a witness, not the ADA, so it's really hard for her. Benson shows up to cover hanging out with Cabot shift, and Stabes takes off, leaving just the girls to their slumber party. He's like, get your beauty rest. Fuck off.
This whole time I was waiting for a gunshot through the window or something because there's a gigantic window. And I'm like,
yeah,
don't go by the window.
Cabot says she wishes the window opened. Ugh, she misses the city.
Benson's like, oh, you miss the smell of trash and fucking piss? What are you talking about?
Wisconsin is just so quiet at night. Okay. How long have you lived there? Long enough for your bangs to grow out. Nobody says Wisconsin. But then we find out that she's been in Wisconsin. I fucking knew that was Cabot at the Ace Hardware last summer.
Yeah.
I knew it. Benson asks if she's making friends. Cabot's been seeing someone she works with at the insurance agency, but he doesn't know that she's Alexandra Cabot, who was an ADA in New York. He thinks she's fucking filing papers and her name's Emily.
Can you imagine being like a New York City ADA and then you're working in an insurance company in fucking Wisconsin? All because some fucking Irish puke like wanted you in the ground. I'd be so pissed at Ireland.
I'd be so...
No, just kidding.
So Cabot's stressing about how she's going to make the jury see who Connors really is. The jury's going to see him sitting there like a fucking choir boy. He's going to charm them, being all Irish and adorable. She's like, oh, I don't even know what makes him tick. God, she is her job. Benson, who I didn't see walk through the door holding anything, shows Cabot a file on Connors, telling her that she never saw it. Wink, 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 nudge, 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 wink, nudge. It's funny.
Kind of got lost in the last wink and nudge there, did you?
Yeah. It's just funny how they all have fucking hard-ons for integrity until they need a leg up, you know? She's like, we're going to play this one by the book. Wait a minute, you need a little help. Here's something that you shouldn't see. I didn't give it to you. My hands are tied, except for right now. We're friends, huh? Okay.
Yeah. So back at trial, Cabot's on the stand. Novak asks her to tell the jury what happened after she was shot. Cabot tells him that she remembers waking up in the hospital and the marshals were there and they told her she was, quote, dead officially and had to be in witness protection. It's Kressler's turn now. He asks if she saw Connor shoot her and she said, I saw his gun aimed at my heart. And Kressler's like, ugh. Just answer the question. Cabot says no, but he's a coward and likes to run away and then looks at Connor. Did you leave a family behind in Ireland, Mr. Connors? The judge tells her to stay on track. Kressler says, the fact is you have no idea who shot you, do you? And Cabot says, oh, I do. It's the kind of man that likes to rape a woman to get her to talk. The music gets all swelly and Kressler says, let me rephrase the question. Did you see Liam Connors shoot you? She says she didn't see him shoot her, but she knows it was him and then starts egging Connors on. It takes a lot of balls to shoot an unarmed woman and a sleeping child. Too bad your aim wasn't a little better. The whole time the judge is banging the gavel and Kressler's shouting, objection. And Connors jumps up and shouts back, you think you're safe? Can you do it? Do it.
Oh, what does he say?
You think you're safe?
Hang on. You think you're safe?
Yeah. Then he's like, they know where you are. You should have stayed dead. And he's being grabbed by the court cops and fucking held back. Court is in recess so Connors can get under control.
Which I loved because she's like, Kressler, you need to get your fucking client under control.
While Novak is fucking...
Novak is like, blah, 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 and fucking Cabot's like, ah, blah, 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 and she's like banging the gavel, ah, and he's like, rah, and they're like, whoa, dude, calm down.
Yeah.
Jeez, that came out of nowhere.
Right. So Hammond follows Cabot out of the courtroom and Antonio comes over and says hi. Cabot tells Antonio that she's proud of him for coming, and he says he's nervous. Cabot says that she feels better now that she testified. So Antonio's called in, and he's kind of like, I'm going to do it. And he decides to testify, and Sandoval goes in with him. Antonio takes the stand. Connors sees Antonio, and Antonio looks at Connors.
I was like, why don't they put a screen? Because you could easily
Why can't he be on video?
intimidate a witness.
Like, what is the problem?
There's like fucking shit with that. But also, people get to
I think you have to be able to face the person. I think that's
face your accuser or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I just don't get, like, even at the very least, be able to have a screen where they don't make eye contact with each other because he's an 8-year-old.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird.
It seems like a little much.
Okay. Cut to the jury's decision. Connors is found guilty on all counts. Woo woo!
Wee wee.
At the precinct, Sandoval, Novak, Benson, Stabler, and Cragen celebrate the trial. Benson comes in with a bottle of champagne, and in the most white lady way ever, she goes, "Let's get this party started." And Sandoval's like, "Woo!" Cragen brings up how Cabot knew how to push Connors' buttons. Of course she does. Benson says she's a great prosecutor. Cragen tells Benson that she gave Cabot the ammunition. Oop. And Benson's like, I did. I gave her the file.
What do you mean?
So someone's coming in and they think it's Cabot and they're all ready to be like, cheers, but it's fucking Hammond. Cabot and Antonio are being placed under their witness protection and being given new identities. And Cabot asked Hammond to say goodbye for her. I think that's the last time we ever see her, right?
Oh no, Cabot comes back a bunch.
Oh, okay. Toyota.
Also, the witness protection program, I don't know a ton about it. I know a little bit about it, but the witness protection program is set up for adults who have the decision-making autonomy to be able to go, yes, I want you to make me disappear and give me a new life or whatever. So I'm wondering, is Cabot adopting Antonio?
That's what I told myself. She adopted him and they're living together somewhere.
Yeah, I hope so.
Is she going to go back to Wisconsin? What about her boyfriend and her job?
No, she can't.
Her boyfriend got ghosted.
That was the whole point of the show. Ghost.
Yeah.
Ghosted. So since this episode is basically an extension or a part 2 from season 5, episode 4 about this cartel and everything, that chaser was Pablo Escobar. And we are going to do a repeat play of that chaser because I did try to look into IRA shit, cartel, and their relation with cartels.
Well, it's so it was so dead on. It was like, duh, of course.
Yeah, and the all of that came to play with being able to bring Cabot back and everything. So I think more of that was in the writer's room as opposed to ripped from the headlines. So we're gonna dive into an oldie but a goodie. Go back in time with us to when we did this chaser. Okay. Whoop. We're back from the past.
Next week, we have season 6, episode 17, Rage. Obviously, this is a fucking Stabler episode. I'm sure he's going to get his badge and gun taken away or something. So he's got to try and be chill while they investigate a guy who is a suspect in a murder of a teenage girl. But Stabler once let this dude go on a similar charge and is probably blaming himself instead of doing his job and focusing on his family that is actively falling apart. So yeah, that's next week.
Rate and review us, guys. Email us at svupod@gmail.com. Send us stuff and I swear I'll go get it. P.O. Box 176, Deforest, Wisconsin 53532. Follow us on all social media at svupod. We're on Instagram, TikTok, all the stuff. If you want merch, you can get it at svupod.com. You can also go directly to TeePublic. Join our Facebook group, SVUpod Elite Squad. There's a group chat there called Walk and Talk. And there's also an offshoot Facebook group called Single Tomato Book Club. And they do a book every month. It's cool. Hashtag littlebitloud for indie pods. Use it, search it. Check out our Patreon. Become a patron at patreon.com/svupod. There's more shit. There's lots of shit. It's full of shit. And give us a call. Do you need an ear? Do you need to talk to us via voicemail?
Or text?
Or text. You can text too. 1-920-345-7005. 1-920-345 7005. We love getting those messages from you.
Every now and then you might get lucky and I'll forget that it's a different phone number and answer the phone and talk to you for like 30 minutes because I don't know what I'm doing.
She did that at first a bunch.
Yeah. I'm like,
Every
hello.
time someone would call, she'd answer the fucking phone. Okay. Love you, bye.
Love you, bye.
It's like, yeah. Come on, serotonin. Watch these fucking likes come in.
Bing, 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 bing. Really, it's just like me, like. Okay. Sump pump. That's what I'm gonna start saying.
Ew. That's what you call your vagina. I hate that.
I'm gonna start saying that whenever I think
pump.
there's like a hot person around. I'll be like, sump pump.
Ew. All right. I'm gonna have to deal with that for a while.
Yeah, you are.
So,
To our Elite Squad patrons, Nikki M, Marissa M, Rebecca D, Elkie H, Trisha S, Emily T, Katarina G, Mary D, Joshua H,
Lem, Sonia W, Eliza W, Nikki B, Kaylin B, Melanie G, Andrew, Miranda B, Lauren T, Katie A, Kate H, Vanessa, Lex, Shelby K,
Mallory G, Bonita R, Maren, Courtney W, Ursula, Catherine M, Kate P, Jessica S, Danielle W, Jenna M, Tammy J, Bear, Sam D,
Nisha G, Nada M, Mac, Casey, Abby W, Alexis J, Caitlin S, Christina D, Camille Z, Maggie D,
Sin, Jessica P, Zan and J, Madison H,
Emily.
Ohana means family, and family means nobody is left behind or forgotten.
Oh,
It's from
Yeah.
Lilo and Stitch.
yeah. I never actually watched that. Victoria, Scout G, Melissa M,
Desiree R, Lexi Y, Drew B, Monica K, Katie S, Brenna T, Andrea M, Tash,
Jenna, Al H, Andrea H, Nikki R, Aunt Sarah, hi.
Oh,
Merry Christmas.
Is
Katie H, Vern, Catherine B, Ariana, Madeline K, Mallory J, Kristen F, Samara B, Dim Sim, and Alice D. Thanks, guys. We love you and appreciate you.
Boom, boo, doo, 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 doo. We appreciate you.